Jeff Smith. Jeff, so we saw there that the Indian Prime Minister did not mention the issue of Kashmir. Why is it? Is it because he is under absolutely no pressure to do so by bigger powers?
Well, I think most of the world's capitals, in fact, the vast majority of the world's capitals, have not attempted to apply major pressure to India over its decision on Kashmir. I think they've sort of accepted the Indian position that this is an internal affair to be handled, by the Indian democratic system, through Indian courts, through the Indian political process, and that there's not really a role for outside powers to play in sort of pressuring India to reverse or alter that decision, even though many countries, including the United States, have said that they hope the restrictions on assembly and on movement and on communications come to an end as soon as possible.
And so what do you think was Narendra Modi's agenda there at the United Nations General Assembly?
Well, I think it was more to promote a positive message than anything, to discuss climate change and also to discuss the scourge of terrorism and seek global unity on that question. But I think it was in line with the Indian government's position that this is not a sort of matter for international discussion. It did not affect India's borders with Pakistan. It did not affect India's borders with China. So I was really not surprised to see Prime Minister Modi avoid going deeply into the discussion on Kashmir.
And we saw very strong words, heard very strong words from Imran Khan there. But what more can Pakistan do now to pressure India on the issue of Kashmir?
I'm not certain there's much more it can do, aside from just trying to raise awareness, as Prime Minister Khan did during his speech. They sought intervention, at first from China at the United Nations Security Council, and that was largely unsuccessful because most of the other members of the Security Council effectively sided with India that this was an internal matter. He sought intervention from leaders in the Muslim world who, largely avoided directly criticizing India, even announced new investments in India and conferred civilian awards upon Prime Minister Modi. I don't know that there is much else Pakistan can do to elevate this issue except to crack down on some of these terrorist groups that have been operating in Kashmir and try and open an honest dialogue with India. Although, I wonder, Prime Minister Khan in his speech insisted that it's his intention to hold a dialogue with India, that he's been trying in earnest to do so ever since he's been elected. But I have to imagine that speech largely torpedoed any chance he has of restarting a comprehensive dialogue with India during his term.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much indeed for sharing your thoughts with us on the NewsHour. Jeff Smith there, thank you.